Hey, department heads that are here, I posted the form in the department head chat, so if anyone is able to open and test it for me before I throw it in the YouTube link, that would be cool. I just want to make sure I didn't break. It's only 3 questions. It should be fine. I'm just anxious about it. Thank you. I'm gonna check to see what the response is. Just an attendance form I was working on. It's super simple, but where did you send it? In the department head chat. Yeah. I will put it in general once we if it's fine and if it's working.
Perfect. Done and you said.
Okay, let me look at responses.
Oh, thank you.
Why don't you have
Nice. Nice. I'm in person.
you know that show?
In
Oh, I know. I just.
You have to select your roles. Did you select your roles in the welcome thing? Because when you join, you have to
okay, welcome back.
you have to select your roles to have access to the thing. And
Sorry
then your
about that.
have to get approved.
No, well, partially unavoidable. We will avoid
Let
it
me
in the
see if this
future.
works though.
Thank you for rejoining us. I don't know where it blanked out on us, because I was the last to know. Okay.
Room party updates. Yeah.
Room party.
This
So
looks like it's working.
typically, we in the program guide have a short list of this is the room party in this room, and then also similar to panels, have a more lengthy description of, like I said, this is the Pokemon room party. Come into this room and do all of the things Pokemon, etc. Kind of more of a jazzy, fun description. If they back out, if we have time to up until the very last, dare I say, evening before submission, we can hopefully pull that out. If not, we just have to use our social media as a way of saying, such and such room party, has canceled. So worst case scenario, that's what we'd be able to do. As far as the floor layouts, okay, we can discuss that after the meeting. As far as the sleeping rooms that we have available for our hosts, which is a little bit of a newer thing this year to help incentivize some of our room party hosts. It would really depend on the floor and number of rooms. We can request that the hotel put those on the same floor. It's going to depend on the number and type of room. So if there's more requests for, let's say, a single king or double queen, and it reaches the maximum of number of rooms on the fourth floor, some of them are going to have to get bumped to other floors. But we can try to put room party host sleeping rooms on the same floor as their party room floor. So we can try to coordinate that as much as possible. There are also a number of staff, a lot of times tech, sometimes safety, et cetera, that request to be on our lower floors for ease of getting down to main stage, ease of getting down safety issues, things like that. So as much as we can make those things happen, we'll try to. Let's see, facilities, Tony did not have anything to update. Lee from video. Only updates from video. Still waiting to hear back from some companies. Next weekend is their scheduling meeting for everything they have heard back from. We're still in talks with Crunchyroll. We're just right now. I'm in the process of discussion with them. Essentially, our contract is in the hands of their people, and just trying to sort that out. I thought there was one more on this. Maybe not. That was it. I think that was everybody that sent one in. No, video gaming. Tom from video gaming I do I have the contract for event arcade rentals, so I'm getting that signed and returned. We're just awaiting contracts from our other vendors, including our tournament organizer, Run the Mix. We're utilizing all of their equipment and running tournaments. They'll write their contract and send it to me to review and sign. Social tables for video gaming is done. Small details on specific tables, things like World 9 casual gaming space, etc., still being worked on. Sort of referencing some of the stuff from tech that we talked with tech to sort out internet drop, access points, power drops, some projectors and screen requests. And again, Bruce will be talking to Encore on Monday in regards to some of the things for the North Star Ballroom. Discussed some of the video game storage. Let's see. There is a possible backup space as well. And currently working on a schedule for video gaming tournaments for the programming guide. And that has a component of the online registration going live shortly thereafter with some of those tournament registration sites. And I think that is everything from, let's see, everybody that's here has already provided updates, so thank you for that. I'll have the big one from Sherry. I was kind of saving that for last because it has a lot of data. So let me get to that. Where did I put that? This way. Okay, so from Sherry and themes. Again, deadlines for the program guide are coming soon. Thanks everyone who has submitted your content. A lot of the deadlines have been staggered to make it easier for folks, for you guys, as well as Mike and Sherry who work on the guide. Let's see. So here are, the deadlines. So it's going to sound like a lot of information. If it doesn't apply to you, fine. Just try to listen for the things that apply to you. Accessibility policies is February 1st. Hotel policies also, well, let me just group it this way. February 1st will be accessibility, hotel, room parties, and weapons policies. February 3rd is Artist Alley, Exhibit Hall, and video gaming. February 4th is Chairman Letter, Charity Auction, in the Manga Reading Lounge. So I'll have to reach out to the Manga Reading Lounge as an external partner, and also photography. February 6th is tabletop gaming. February 7th is registration information. February 10th is ATC President. That's your letter that goes in the front of the program guide, Christina. February 10th is also the bus schedule and information about the Cosplay Masquerade and any information on a mobile app, and also kind of our Keep Anime Detour safe information, the staff list, and the VIP list for the back of the guide. February 13th is information about the Maid and Butler Cafe and video, and it was in Lee's video screening rooms information. February 15th is going to be the maps, and February 19th is programming grids and then the individual blurbs for each one of those events. If you see any content that is missing because it is new information or should be removed, then please let Sherry know. Because again, just a reminder, the deadline is shorter because of the time that the printer needs to print more copies of the book, and the convention still being in March, last 3 days, but still March. And again, Sherry says thank you all so much. And then let's see, video gaming. I'm just double checking something here. So video gaming was the third, but as indicated here in the chat, Tom and Sherry have worked out a deal until February 10th. So that supersedes it or whatever, erases that part of this email. So guests, even though there's not an official update, we had one cancellation. Lucian Dodge had a different work opportunity that interfered with those dates. So sadly, he had to cancel. So unfortunately for us, but we wish him well on that, and hopefully we'll be able to have him back with us at a future detour. We did already have in the works to announce Sarah Ann Williams, so we were able to do that. And we were finally able to announce Rolling Forts. We were able to get all of that together and announced. So they are out, those have all been announced. We still have a few more that we're working on, and of course, as usual, we will be able to announce those once contracts are all signed and confirmed, etc. So there will still be a few more to announce depending on how all of that lands. And then let me just check the chats and see. We did have some information for all staff about housing. So this is coming from staffing. Just to remind everyone to check your event application and the two portions on that about rooming. Number one, particularly if you need staff housing or not. So double check that as to whether or not you need housing or not. If you need housing, please check that you need housing. Secondly, if you indicate that, let me see, I'm just trying to read this, make sure I read this to you correctly. If you specify that you only want to room with specific people, could you please list names? I mean, I don't want to pry, but, and you don't have to specifically tell me, but it will make,
Wait, that's missing from some of the application?
yes. Please fill out that section. We have a ton of people. We have a ton of people
One
who are just,
staff form, which has 3 questions.
are, yes, Tabby.
So I'm working with Hotura currently. We have a fraternity group coming in,
Yeah.
assisting with detour.
Yeah.
She's going to be handling a lot of that scenario and that situation.
Okay.
To have facilities reach out to her for that kind of housing specifically. Because I know that I've seen those applications and I know some of those applications do not have the names of their parties on it. So I don't know exactly.
Oh my.
They have like the fraternity. Like the program that they're looking for it, but they do not have specific names instead. So we can.
I mean, it's.
I mean,
we just coordinate it.
if they're not opposed to any other member in that group and they're fine with just 4 of that, yeah. And I think Morgan is pretty
Yeah.
That's gonna be kind of like our group registration.
yeah, I know that Votoria has worked really closely on telling her about which of those members are coming in from the fraternity group. Yeah.
I'm sure if it was actually.
No, it's actual staff. So like we want to make sure that if you want to room with particular people, that we are able to get you into that. Another smaller component that just requires more investigation that is difficult for the staffing department is to make sure that each or all parties is putting that information on the application. If only one person says, I want to room with Tabby and Brittany, we we don't know what's going on there. We need to make sure that
It's mute.
that Tabby and Brittany want to also room with these people.
A question in the chat about Girl Scouts. Yes, Girl Scouts have planned to be with us next year, and they were a huge like popular thing among
Yes.
the community. We are waiting just final confirmations for what their attendance looks like, but they are confirmed that they will be joining us.
Yeah, I've spoken to them. They had reached out to me about the availability for them to come. We have welcomed them again. They just need to get that special dispensation again from the cookie overlord because it falls just outside of their normal selling point. But I believe I would like to believe that solely on the amount of Thin Mints that I myself purchased, that it should be a go.
Sitting.
There is also that.
Volunteering with us, should we have expectations of that again this year, if they so choose, or
I
running for them if we need to?
like.
Did you volunteer?
Half the girls, when they were off their cycle, they would come and do like.
I can. Let me ask.
I'm gonna cry if the little Girl Scout asks to see my badge. I didn't see that. Because who's
Well,
oh my god.
Yellow.
I know that the song was beyond adorable that they did on the main stage. So
Staff rooms for Thursday through Monday are on a case by case basis. It is very expensive for us to house people for that extended period of time. Obviously, like it is an as needs. Like some people, like especially like out of towners or staff that require next day like tear down, like of course we're going to accommodate those kind of things. But the full Thursday through Monday are case by case. Most of the rooms, if you requested it on your form, we're going to accommodate it. There are very limited circumstances in which we can accommodate like fewer members in a room. And do make sure that you put on your application like who you're rooming with if you have a preference. What was that one more time, John?
How are we posting agents for the Thursday thing?
I don't know if we have a specific form.
I put it in like the open space or
There should be a like yeah.
with just through like all the information.
Yeah. I would say that's a fair question.
Yeah. Because there are certain logistic members that are going to be there Wednesday night.
yeah, I think we're familiar.
Not with it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna post more time because I can't pin it to the chat for some reason. I think we need to look at my YouTube settings,
Right.
but I'm just gonna post it again.
Yes, you do.
Outside of that, I think some things that we're looking at for 2025 is streamlining some of the things that we do by email and try to do them more Google forms like the tech requests, maybe some of the external. So staff departments that need hotel rooms for their external partners. So like for instance, like convention relations that need hotel rooms for incoming conventions or video game vendors, things like that. So rather than, mass number of emails coming into, let's say, the reservations department, that it would all go to, it just kind of funnels things. So Bruce is doing tech requests. So just to start to streamline some of those things so that at our size with the number of hotel rooms that it would just all start to go to one form that they can pull that data from. We can look and see if there is some capability for EventMe to do some of that stuff, but I know that at last check, there wasn't that much linkage with like hotel reservation systems. There's a lot that we can do with like booth selection and things like that when you upload your maps into that, but just so some of that stuff we're looking at for 2025 to kind of make some of our internal stuff easier than having to send all these emails. You can just do a Google form for stuff like that. outside of that, let's see, Christina says, is the standard staff stay Thursday through Saturday? I would believe that's pretty much the case. If not, yeah, I mean, obviously with the convention being open Friday, closing Sunday, I'd say that's a version of standard, depending on I suppose your level of engagement as staff. Obviously, there are a lot of staff that are there starting very early Thursday. So if that's the case, then we'll probably have a number of staff that, you know, if the expectation is that you're there, if the expectation is that you're there Thursday morning, then you would have, you probably have a hotel room. Some of them would have a hotel room Wednesday. So yeah, it just kind of like Brittany said, it kind of depends on um, when you're starting on Thursday, what your department is, that sort of thing. There, like Tabby said, logistics is actually there Wednesday, so we're not gonna send them back home and then have them back on Thursday, that sort of thing. So, and then they load out Monday, so they're definitely a Sunday stay as well. So it's a little different for numbers of different people, but we'll try to make sure that everybody has the appropriate stay for the work that they're doing. Hope.
I don't know if you literally just said it or not, because I was hyper focused on trying to find things independently and tuned everything else.
Sure.
What is the number of hours people have to work for the hotel again? Because I want to make sure that people who say they need housing
Sure.
can.
So essentially what we've tried to do this year is intentionally, well, I'm not trying to wade very carefully. I'm just trying to think of how to, we've tried to put most of that responsibility and trust in our department heads.
Right.
We've tried to remove this hard 16 hours, 12 hours.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
you know, in previous years, we felt like, and honestly, it's not really people here, but in auditing, well, not only the staff list, which was like 330 people, and it was apparent that there were not really 330 staff, that for that first year or two, that it was that metric was kind of what we needed, as there was a number of department heads that just had staff doing 2 hours, 4 hours, and things like that, which still filled important holes. But doing that and then saying, here are all these perks, it was, you know, and then there's staff that were doing 18 hours a day. It was very difficult. So we've this year with our staffing department tried to take more of the idea that if you are staff, you are staff, and these are the perks you get as staff, because we believe that our department heads will schedule their staff. So not really a reliance on this 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, so that if you only did 14 hours, sorry, you don't get a badge. Sorry, you don't get a room. It's a really terrible, divisive, inefficient.
Hours in the public.
Right, but you don't get a room. You came up an hour short. So we really wanted to kind of do away with that. And like I said, if you're staff, you are staff. You have hotel space. You have a badge. Your contribution is just as valuable at 10 hours as it is at 12, as it is at 18. We've kind of just removed that from this, you know, you must reach this to get this sort of rabbit race. So, other, what? Yeah. Yeah, Bruce. You know, I know there's a lot of cons that have that. You know, one of the issues with the Anime Detour, for lack of a better word, is it didn't start that way. So, you know, 2 years ago when we started, to the point 2 years ago where we were. Oh, Bruce says at NebCon we have 24 hours during con, as a metric. So there's a number of cons that, sort of have that metric of, at this number of hours you are staff, and at staff you get these perks. Anime Detour historically didn't have that. You were staff, and hotel rooms and badges weren't offered. That's just the facts of it. So in trying to start those in the 18th and 19th year, and that's not shade, that's just those are the years when they came. Um, and it was a little bit of an arduous process to get those started and figure out how to make them work. One of them being that staff used to pay for their badges. Staff used to pay for badges at, I think it was $5 off whatever the current rate was. So then I was able to get it to flat $45 fee. Well, that already was going to be a slight loss of income to the convention, so that takes a little bit of um, coercing, and then convincing that we have to be okay with staff paying for badges and all. Okay, but if they hit this number of hours, and then hotel rooms is certainly a much larger cost of, they used to fill these rooms and they used to be on their own dime. Well, now we need to absorb that cost, but that's the value of our staff and what they do. There's a lot of things you can do. You can put on a con without, or you can convince yourself you can put on a con without. I'm fairly certain, I don't want to ever be proven right or wrong on it, but I'm pretty sure staff isn't one of them. And also for retaining staff morale, recruiting new staff. It has been proven that it's very difficult to ask staff to come staff. They are willing to, especially if you're talking to staff at other cons. They're like, I'd love to come staff with you guys. If I have to say, sure, it's just $45 for a badge and you pay for your hotel room, the conversation takes a much different turn. So, as Detour had not offered those alternatives before, it was very difficult to try and start that metric. And so now we're just at, if you are, we like I said, we put that not in a negative way, but we trust in our department heads. They will schedule their staff. And like I said, if there's somebody that only worked 11 hours and somebody worked 13, those are still very valuable hours, and we couldn't have done the convention without their hours. So um, I don't recommend, most of the time when I hear people who worked the 18 hours plus, I don't recommend it. I do it myself. I don't recommend it, but and in 24 hours at con is not.
Brutal.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, over 3 days is not terrible. It's very doable, but we just haven't set that. We haven't set that metric. Um, so let's see. For housing, is there a hard number limit on the people per room? Um,
I think it was,
oh, well, you mean in terms of a maximum number of people per room?
please don't start 8 years.
I mean, as far as a staff provided room, we are not going to put more than 4 people in a room.
Oh.
Yeah, there are cons that do that, and we again, that is something that we can full stop. So yeah, so we do 4-person occupancy, just for knowledge base. When we even tried to do the math in terms of what if we went down to 3, um, it's about a $12,000 difference in terms of the number of staff that we have, to go to 3-person occupancy in rooms from a 4-person occupancy. And that is not funds that we have. How many needed to qualify? I guess I'm not sure what you mean by qualify. So for staff rooms, we are looking to do 4-person occupancy. It for financials in terms of um, what it costs Anime Detour, budget wise, for Anime Twin Cities to pay for the rooms. With currently, I think we are approaching or maybe just be a shade under 260 staff. All of them may not have asked for staff housing, but should they, we have to be able to provide that. So we need to be able to put 4 people um, in a room for the most part. So um, I guess that's sort of the qualification. Again, not enforcing at a convention level a hard hours minimum. We leave that to our department heads. If we felt there was an issue, we would address that department by department. But we're looking at 4-person occupancy. Should we get towards the end of a list and there was only 3 people at the end of the list, then that's the way the cookie crumbled there. But we try to put 4 people in a room. Yeah, and we did have a sort of an asterisk as far as they're asking here about at con hours runs into a problem with those departments that um, do really heavy pre-con work, and we did address that in terms of knowing like IT programming, et cetera, that we had addressed and hid an asterisk for those departments that we did not expect, let's say, our IT department to then come and, no offense to John, they could if they wanted to, but we didn't expect them to come and throw on a vest and then also do X number of hours of at con work. We were aware that there were a number of departments that either solely or, um, you know, primarily did a lot of away from con work. So I'll just check one more spot and see if there's anything else to address. Okay, I don't see anything else in here. Is there anything else out there? Um, yes. Some of us never stop working, and you are the problem children. And I know whose chat name that is. Um, well, I mean the dead dog part. They're asking, can we bring back the dead dog party? The dead dog party has kind of always been a unofficial, official. Um, yeah, it's never been sort of an actual a formal a funded event. It's one of the kind of typically one of the aspects of that has been, here is all of the food that has been left in Conceit. Come eat it or take it home, etc. And who wants to kind of show up in an area, and at that point, should you chose to have bring things like apple juice or grape juice or water or soda in bottles, you could do that. But again, it wasn't funded or provided. So it's elective. If people choose to gather in a space, we're able to do that. It does bring to mind one other item, because oh God, because video gaming will be in the North Star Ballroom, we will most likely, in fact, probably very definitely have whatever we're calling our Sunday staff gathering. What'd you say? Oh yes, they said the beer thing, and I was like, I just talked about that. There, there is no beer thing, officially. We will most likely have that probably upstairs on the 4th floor. There is service up there. I'll just have to confirm that with the hotel. It will take them. They close earlier, and it will take them most likely less time to move out of that area than obviously main stage or video gaming. So that will be one changed there. Also, that will also be working on with executive team and buttons with convention relations to go over the industry mixer that is typically Saturday. And also we'll be working with the hotel on the forward-facing kind of specialty menu, not only our lower dollar fare that is at the food stands, but also some of the more fun titled things that they, yeah, that they do on their kind of on the table tent stuff at the restaurant, and also some of the fun named drink stuff. So yeah, we'll start working on some of that. That's really all that I think that there is for today. So again, if you have anything that you need to get with other departments on, please start doing that. I think obviously our largest focus outside of whatever you guys know that you need to focus on, because I don't know that, is anything that needs to get into the program guide is obviously going to be a heavy priority. If you have anything that you need or want to get on social media, that's going to be a big presence, obviously, as we gear up towards registration close, which is going to be a little later this year as we have the opportunity to do that through Eventney. But obviously, we want, if you have fun, exciting things that you'd like to talk to or informative things to get out to our attendees, we want them to know about things. We want them to know about exciting things. We would also like them to register, but let our social media team know so they can get that stuff out there. If they have to build a post for you, please give them 3 days. I'd also suggest at this point, still try to give them 3 days with a flurry of posts coming in. It's probably going to help them to be able to figure out how to schedule things in terms of if they get 8 posts, they can figure out to this day, to that day, that sort of thing. Anything else from anybody in person here or in the chat?
I'm going to post the link one more time, by the way, in the chat in case some people missed it, because we do have some emails fluffing through here that are like, hey, I'm attending the meeting, and those are fine. I can also fill out the form for you because we're not requiring emails on it. But if you get the form, that's helpful.
It looks like, sorry, I missed you, Alan. Alan asked, what does tabletop do? So our tabletop gaming department works in conjunction. We have a group that we bring in called Gnome Games, and so they run some of their own tournaments, and then they have a free game space where people can check out games and play games there. And then they run Magic tournaments and a bunch of other tournaments, and they have like some of the large games, Giant Catan, Giant Chess, things like that.
There's also like open D&D sessions and like pickup sessions for role playing.
We bring in the Pathfinder Society, which has just been confirmed. And then similarly, we have our own Anime Detour game library and run our own scheduled events and tournaments. So what our tabletop team does overall, if you join the staff, I'm not exactly certain what they might slot you to do, but overall, the team does those things, is that they would run Magic events, tournaments, teach people games, and also kind of monitor that free play area. So check out games from the library, maybe teach somebody a game, or sit down and play, Magic the Gathering, or things like that with them. So that would be kind of the elevator pitch things for what you would do if you were staffing in the tabletop area.
Random comment.
Yeah.
I swear today because I'm gonna get cat food. And by just seeing the A of AD on my shirt today, I had 3 staffers tell me see it.
Oh, I love it.
Merch.
Oh yeah, just swag around.
We
Tour swag hat around.
and so I don't know how much else of it has come out, or just as reminders. Oh, reminder, we were asked to bring it up again for staff to remember that we do have that staff Discord, the secret server. So if you aren't on that, you are able to join that. Again, it is elective, but it is another avenue for like either you only use it for fun or just sort of like quick chats. If you are a department head and don't have access to those roles, let us work with you and get access to those sorts of things. I know some people have been able to work with their staffing department where they need to be set up, or if you just have to choose those roles. We also have this year.
And it's a great way, sorry to interrupt, it's a great
No,
way
good.
to like converse like with your chairman. We're all very active on there too. So if in your specific department chat you just need a quick question answered and typing up 3 emails is annoying, feel free to throw it in there. There are some teams that use exclusively emails. There are some teams that use the chats. Right now there is no like standard of engagement. Just like follow the announcement channels because we try to post the announcement channels in email and in the chats. So again, just like use the resources that we have to get things done.
Can we request for this out of
The email.
No, like just email, what we all, this for wise.
That's it. That,
There's
no live and active current content is pasted on the staff Discord. Nobody is monitoring and nobody is like utilizing that as of right now. It is kind of staffers that want to use that and share information there, they can. We as the executive team and staffing have not officially like utilized or been posting on the staff.
I'm not saying what is the official list.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is ask for
What
the-
exists?
You just have to ask for the link to it because I have no idea how to get onto it.
Yeah.
Can we make a resource page potentially?
It's supposed to be
For that.
supposedly when you sign up on Eventany, and this is what we found out is that Discord links expire. Is that when you sign up on Eventany, all of that gets preset up. We're trying to make it like a smooth orientation process, start to finish.
You cannot reiterate. I also see,
Yeah.
which drives me insane. I'm not that great with tech. I'm better at it than,
For sure.
But having friends where you can send anything now, you can meet something with. You want to join our staff servers. Here's where you can interact with. How you join stuff.
Right.
That's something that I'm work.
I totally understand. My concern with if we go outside of the application at Eventany and people get links outside of that, we will get people who are not current and active staff in Eventany. And we're trying to create like a monitoring system so we can make sure year over year.
Maybe it's just in Eventany, but
Yeah. No, that's
true.
fine.
On the years, each was going to be
Mhm.
in Eventany. We can navigate to that.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, I will be honest with you, I get frustrated. So there is a standard place for ways to interact. Whether those change, whether they're official, whether they're unofficial, because what we want is engagement.
Staffing is almost done with the
So,
org chart, I
yeah.
think. So
Yeah.
the org chart is
So
going to help.
even that would be,
Yeah.
even on the bottom of the org chart, just
Mhm.
here's
The links. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, we're trying to do an org chart and a flow chart. Sorry.
No, I think Darby had something.
You're in the form tribute. I feel like something like this would be great for the department head meetings. But a perfect opportunity for people to come in for doing training to help get our department heads up to date on how to use Eventany. Because it seems to be a really frustrating topic for a lot of our department heads. I was able to figure it out. I was able to get through it. That's because I was persistent and just not giving up on it. And I just kept clicking it, like, I'll eventually get there.
And I'm not trying to say that everyone should be able to do what I do because in my real life job,
Right.
I do some of that super usery stuff. I also didn't have any Eventany training, and it was just kind of like clicking around to figure stuff out. I understand that that's not intuitive for everybody. What we've done so far this year, because our executive team has been like fulfilling so many roles and there's so much content at the meeting, is that as of right now, it's been kind of case by case basis. You want to attend a meeting, we'll train you on some content you don't understand.
That's why
Yeah. Yeah.
And can we add this to the list of
Yeah.
in the future? This will be super.
And what's great about Eventany too is there's an Eventany advocate that we have for our account who can just set up additional trainings. So if it comes down to we have like 4 or 5 people that just want something a little more formal. That advocate, we can just send at least one chairman to like kind of translate some of that stuff. But then that advocate can host these trainings. It doesn't have to be on one random department head that knows,
Yeah.
one random staffer that uses it for another org, and like a random executive that like is good at it or the specialist or whatever. So let's
maybe really some way to
Yep.
formalize.
yeah, as we use more programs, yeah, I agree. We should have more trainings for sure.
One thing Spike says, can we talk about getting more loadout support this year? So I'm not sure if you mean in like the tech area or overall loading out of the building. Just because I don't want to speak for Tabby, so
Is that like Thursday or
Oh, Thursday would be loaded. Hold on. Who has that question?
Specs had posted in chat. Can we talk about getting more load out support this year?
No, because he's not a part of the logistics department. If he has a question about that, he can come to me on it.
Oh,
Send me an email. I have a full team available.
Yeah.
I've already sent out. Bruce is going to be delegating those tasks to his subordinates, and then subordinates and myself will be in contact. And then some.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
have an entire 15-person staff already
So
up
far.
for load and load out thanks to Cultura this year.
Yep.
So that's on me. I'm sorry. There will be an email that will be sent out Monday. And it will be sent out to department heads and only
Sounds good.
to the department heads to delegate that to their departments. And more people that have helped previously.
Yeah.
So Bruce, it sounds like you're going to be getting contact about that.
Yeah, I know that just last week, based on our executive meeting, that Votora had drafted a number of people to staff, a lot of them going to logistics. So Tabby has them slotted to already address those needs.
Yep.
So you guys will be getting more about that information. So that issue sounds like it's already been addressed. Yep. Some other, just a few other exciting things. I don't know if everybody has heard, or just reminders. We'll have an escape room, like we said, Girl Scout cookies. We have pro wrestling, and we have snacks. So we have a reptile group coming. So yeah, if there's nothing else, then we can return everybody.
Thing. We have so far 5 educational groups attending. Many of those educational groups this year are ranging anywhere from 8 to 26 members, so that's amazing. Myself and Troy are going to be working with one of those clubs to make sure the registration goes smoothly after this meeting. So random cool announcement: educational programs thriving, maybe.
For the educational programs,
Mm-hmm.
if they need like volunteer like opportunities,
Have them reach out.
We did give educational groups a discounted rate. We went with the same basic information that was on the webpage. And obviously they have their own hotel group block link. The complication is here. We didn't have a lot of foundational content created, which was but
bringing up was because I know some schools require you.
Volunteer hours.
point to
Like to know if they have.
there's
They do need volunteer.
Oh, would you be okay if I just amassed the core contact list, sent them your way, and you could give a volunteer spiel if you'd like?
So also sending that information. You need to reiterate to the group leader as well as the group members.
Yeah.
If you're going to do content or yes. These years, yeah, my kids should do this and then half of them don't show up.
But yeah.
They shouldn't commit if they don't want to do it.
They have to commit in order to be a part of the educational thing. That was very, very early on.
No, now we just have as a community benefit. If you sign up as an educational group, we don't have a minimum limit beyond being a registered group that we can verify. Then you get a discounted rate. Like that's a great way to kind of get them to make money back for their org or to like spend money.
They're in school that doesn't have
Yeah.
free merch by volunteering.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll send those emails your way and we can like make sure that you get those information to those groups, clubs, and orgs. Because I think that's a great way to continue to build our community. They could be future staff for us. Who knows? Yeah, yeah.
Has had an anime club. It has gone to Detour when I worked there.
That's awesome. I could never get my college club to amass a group to go under the educational groupings, but I also did room party hosting back then, so understandable.
All right. Well, as always, if there's anything that is needed between now and the next meeting, feel free to go through your department head or your vice chair or to the chairman email for whatever you need. Otherwise, if there's nothing else, then we'll close down the meeting. All right. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.